Hai, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera kepada para pelayar Suara Merdeka dan followers Cikgu Saham fans. Sebelum kita menjemput tetamu undangan pada hari ini, apa kata kita lihat prestasi pasaran saham Bursa Malaysia pada penutup tengah hari ini. Jom. Okey, indeks pasaran saham kita naik sebanyak 7 mata pada paras 1,560 mata yang mana terdapat 470 kaunter-kaunter untung dan 462 kaunter rugi sementara 450 kaunter tidak berubah. So tanpa buang masa lagi, kita persilakan Pengasas Syarikat Sedania Inovator Berhad iaitu Datuk Azrin Muhammad Nur. Terima kasih Datuk kerana sudi tampil sebagai tetamu jemputan bersama Cikgu Saham.
Sama-sama. Assalamualaikum semua.
Okay. Boleh Datuk cerita tentang syarikat yang Datuk terajui kerana Sedania Berhad merupakan salah satu syarikat tersenarai di Bursa Malaysia?
First kena panggil dia nama betul. Nama dia Sedania Innovator Berhad. Although we are known as Sedania lah, 0178. I think that's the short of it. Kita ni sebenarnya a technology company. Although cara kita behave ialah kita a lot more innovative in kita punya product or service providing dan kita gunakan technology as the tool or instruments lah. We've been listed about 6 years. Masa kita mula-mula listing dulu, we started only in the telco tech industry. Kita provide this service called airtime share. Masa tu di Celcom, every day we were processing about 1 to 1.5 million transactions a day. Service tu is just allowing someone to share airtime between one person to another. Maknanya dia habis airtime, dia transfer. But that was some time back. Now we've moved on, kita dah venture into fintech, kita dah venture into green technology, which is interesting sebab sekarang kan semua orang nak ikut ESG, the United Nations punya Sustainability Development Goal. So banyak company wants to use our services for environment. We also venture into esports, which kejap lagi we can talk about, and also health tech, which is today probably one of the sexiest industry in the world. So that's what basically Sedania is, and I think I'll let the question and answer later nanti baru explain a little bit more.
Okay. Saya dapati pada penyata kewangan syarikat Sedania mencatatkan keuntungan berbanding dengan pada tahun 2020. Boleh Datuk beritahu apakah faktor yang menyumbang kepada peningkatan Sedania dalam keadaan pandemik COVID-19 sekarang ini?
Yeah, so masa mula-mula COVID datang, I think it was hujung 2019 kan. It affected everybody. The only one yang buat duit was Top Glove, Hatta Lega, all glove manufacturers. So and we were no different because kita ada projek-projek kita yang memerlukan kita untuk, for example our Telecom Malaysia punya project, we have to go to ground, nak pergi deploy. Because MCO we couldn't deploy, so bukan project tu di cancel tapi project tu had to be postponed, but we still had to carry the financing costs, operational costs, hardware, software, all of those costs. So 2020 was tough for us and we had to make some tough decisions, but I think Alhamdulillah I think we were one of the blessed ones sebab kita rearrange balik the way we do business and we make I think quite alhamdulillah, good decisions lah. We decided to venture into health tech, and just prior to that, we invested into esports. So those two are currently now, kata orang tu apa, are the one leading lah. Health tech alone, under Offspring brand, we grew 14x in the last 18 months. We went from only being in 2 countries. Today, we are in 17 countries, including US, Russia, Europe, most of Asian countries. And every country is growing. Masa Russia mula-mula start dulu, we were only doing, the first order was only $10,000 US. Now every month is an order of about $500,000 to $1 million. So in Russia alone. So I think that one is the reason why I think we made some smart decisions. We manage our finances better. And also dengan MCO ni ramai behavior pergi a lot more digital kan. So our Offspring experienced a huge growth. People buying a lot more online. When people buy online, our margins are better. With the MCO also, a lot of people are going to find entertainment. So our ESPL, esports tu, dia punya user base pun terus went up very high because people are at home playing games, you know. But dia tak boleh keluar kan. So yeah, I think we've been blessed like that lah. So alhamdulillah, I think this year insyaAllah will be a very, very good year for us.
Okey. Para pelayar Suara Merdeka boleh tanya soalan kepada Datuk Azrin. Okey, saya dapati harga IPO Sedania iaitu pada harga tawaran 38 sen dan sekarang harga ialah 76 sen, terdapat peningkatan sebanyak 2% pada hari ini, Datuk. Tahniah, ada peningkatan. Okey, jadi apakah perancangan untuk masa tahun depan yang Sedania boleh lakukan untuk meningkatkan lagi pendapatan syarikat?
So I think kita punya vertical sekarang ni quite stable. Kita ada a nice revenue mix kan. Kalau you tengok kita punya health tech punya vertical, dia high growth and high margins. Right? So that will lead, we call it the beachhead of the group lah. Right? So health tech will lead the way. Kita punya esports kita ni in less than 2 years, when we first started dulu, our investments was barely 1 million Sing dollars. Today, it's valued at about 7.6 million US dollars. So it has a multiple of about more than 20x lah on how it's grown in the last 2 years. So now we are in 16 countries. I think if you tengok how Anthony built Grab, Grab went for a SPAC IPO in Nasdaq, valued at 40 billion US dollars. ESPL is geared towards that type of capital gain. I think if people start to understand the opportunity of esports and ESPL, I think they'll get super excited like me for Sedania. Then the other verticals are quite strong juga, Cikgu. Kita punya fintech, kita masih lagi provide platform Sharia compliant acidic kepada 70 financial institutions. So banks like RHB, MBSB, Koperasi, Angkasa, they're all partners. Aeon, JCL, and they're still growing. You know, our green tech is still growing. You know, we got our extended 24 sites dengan Telekom Malaysia for our green tech. We have an announcement to make maybe tomorrow about another contract that we've secured. And our telco tech is also growing, although maybe at a single digit growth, tapi dia masih growing. So vertical wise, organically, it looks very, very promising. But over and on top of that, we also have some projects that we're working on, some concessions that we're working on yang, you know, I'm restricted by Bursa. I can't announce until I can announce it. And equally also, we're looking at some M&A targets to grow the group lah. So yeah, so all in all, unless there's World War III, inshallah Sedania very, very very, very exciting times.
Untuk pengetahuan para pembaca, para pelayar Suara Merdeka, harga Sedania pernah cecah pada RM1.45, iaitu satu kenaikan yang sangat banyak, Datuk. Sebab kalau saya tengok,
I think RM1.70, I think it's 17 something kot.
ini dalam masa setahun.
Dalam setahun, a few months ago.
Okay. Jadi ia merupakan satu kejayaan kepada pelabur di Bursa Malaysia sekiranya mereka membeli pada paras yang rendah dan menjual pada paras yang tinggi. Ya, Datuk?
177.
Bagaimana kita nak menarik orang ramai untuk membeli saham yang ditawarkan oleh Sedania Berhad, Datuk?
Macam mana kita nak apa? Sorry?
Bagaimana kita nak menarik orang ramai untuk membeli saham yang ditawarkan oleh Sedania Berhad? Contohnya, adakah Sedania menerbitkan sebagai macam rights issue, private placement ataupun bonus share?
So those ones we haven't made any announcement yet, so I tak boleh nak ceritakan. Tapi I think I've always found there are many types of investors. You are the day trader, you are the PDT, you are the T2, T3, T8, T10, macam-macam punya type of investor. There are people who study the stock, they use technical, but there are also people who just follow. I think it's very important, especially now, for people to do a little bit more research. I think sekarang ni it's not difficult to find out business mana atau industri mana yang akan suffer and continue to suffer because of the MCO, and counter mana yang during MCO, and if COVID still is around the next 2 to 3 years, dia masih lagi akan jadi counter yang good for investments lah. I think it needs to find company yang faham the business, faham the industry, and more importantly, I always believe yang paling penting kali is the driver in the seat. So in my case, I'm not a professional MD CEO sahaja. I am the founder of this company. So I have the acumen of an entrepreneur. So Sedania is an entrepreneur-driven technology company. Dia bukan saja technology yang hire a professional CEO that comes in and goes. It's driven by, so kalau nak tengok, it's probably like the Steve Jobs of driving Apple, or the Bill Gates that's driving Microsoft, or the Elon Musk that's driving SpaceX and Tesla. So the aspiration and ambition of Sedania tu is the aspiration of and ambition of me as a founder and entrepreneur, and as well as the MD. And that's why kalau you nak tengok company tu sama ada dia punya fundamental bagus tak bagus, dia punya follower bagus tak bagus, but also dia punya business dalam industri yang bagus, dan yang drive the business tu is orang yang bagus. Betul. So I'm fairly confident that Sedania, kalau people take the trouble to Google and research about us, I think all of the fundamentals are there in terms of kita punya revenue mix, kita punya industry mix, kita punya appreciation of business in digital would be a lot bigger. Business yang faham how to diversify is not only in ringgit but also in US dollar, in euro, is mixed properly. Yang pandai how to balance between capital investments and operational requirements. So those are basic business research lah. Kalau dia investor yang a little bit more refined atau ni, dia akan I think they'll find Sedania as a very exciting counter.
Okay, terima kasih Datuk. Muhammad Amin Din, dia kata congratulations. How can we join you? Cik Muhammad Amin, daripada Cik Muhammad Amin.
Oh, Alhamdulillah. Thank you for the kind words. How can we join you? Kena suruh beli share Sedania lah.
Dan Encik Muhammad Abdullah, how to join Sedania? Pertanyaan dia.
How to join as an employee ke atau how to join as a shareholder?
Soalan dia how to join Sedania saja.
Well, we have our link. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Daripada Shuraizat Sabarudin, Datuk, can you share how much order you received from Russia last month and worldwide in total?
Okay, these are all private information lah, but let me see.
Okay,
The
soalan
latest.
private.
Tak, no,
Ya,
no, 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 no,
betul.
I can tell you. Latest, latest kejap. I tengok mana Russia punya numbers.
Okay. So, okay.
No, I think the data is not with me right now. I get weekly reports, but I can tell you, Russia is out of the 17 negara yang kita dah buat, because Russia was one of the early ones since 2019. Sekarang dia punya order is every month, and every month tu ranging from between 500,000 to 1 million in Russia alone. So we expect setiap negara, no, so I can list down the negara lah. So we are in Singapore, Brunei, Mauritius, Russia, US, Philippines, Cambodia, South Korea, Spain, Finland, Thailand, Myanmar, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Armenia, and next week one more country. So Russia, lepas after 2 years, dia dah start to mature lah. Maknanya, you know, it takes time to build a market kan. So mula-mula dulu dia start physical, sekarang dia dah ada on website. So we now on not only on kita punya web store, not only on Lazada or Amazon, Grabmart, but we also in dekat Russia dia ada wildberries.ru, dia ada dia punya own Amazon punya version in Russia. So because of that, that is growing very very fast, and I think it will continue to grow. Yang bertanya soalan tadi tu, I suggest if you have Instagram, you type offspring.rus Russia. I think they have about 140,000 follower if I'm not mistaken. You can tengok lah, quite cute. Apa nama ni, baby dari Russia pakai Offspring punya fashion diaper brand kan. And I hope it warms the heart of Malaysians to know, Mak Saleh ni pakai diaper ni, pakai wipes ni, pakai ni designed by Malaysians. I nak you rasa bangga. So besok when we are in 200 countries, I'm hoping that you were part of that movements to help this company to grow to become a global company and to have our products being used by every country lah. So it's exciting to see, you know, babies in Finland using a brand that we created, babies in Armenia, in Kazakhstan using a brand that we made, you know, in US using a brand that we made, and it's organic, it's eco-friendly, it's biodegradable. So, you know, it warms my heart. So I hope it warms the heart of everyone out there lah, as Malaysians.
Okay. Lelex Yan, we are your loyal investor, Datuk. Go Sedania. Okay, satu lagi soalan daripada Encik Ahmad Faizul. What are the company projection, Datuk, for the next 2-3 years, if I may ask?
So you can ask, but I may not be able to answer because Bursa and the Securities Commission are very strict about forecasting and all that lah. But I can give you current basics today. Kalau you nak, you boleh buat extrapolation sendiri lah. For example, if you seen how Russia 2019, dia punya first order was only $10,000. That's it, first order. Today, after 2 years, well, less than 2 years, dia dah about 500,000 to 1 million order per month. So you see how they grow kan. So can you imagine if US starts to become that more matured, other populous countries like Thailand has a 780,000 birth rate. Maknanya every year ada 780,000 baby dilahirkan, and that will grow, right? Even Malaysia kita ada birth rate of about 500,000 a year. 500,000 baby dilahirkan setiap tahun, and setiap baby ni, kalau you nak tahu, kalau you ada baby lagi lah, setiap baby ni dia akan tukar diaper between 4 hingga 10 kali sehari, depending on umur. Dan setiap kali dia guna diaper, dan offspring diaper in our case, dia akan guna offspring punya wipes, offspring punya head to toe wash, kita punya nappy balm, kita punya lotion, kita punya wonder oil, 7 to 8 SKUs setiap kali dia tukar diaper. And that's why dia punya usage tu very compelling. Kalau you are in the business of jual makanan, mungkin dia makan bulan ni, bulan depan dia tak makan. Tapi kalau you guna offspring, you kena guna tiap-tiap hari. Baby tu akan guna sampai 3 tahun atau 5 tahun. Now we're even talking because, Jekyll came and invested in us. Now we're even talking to Jekyll about the potential of expanding the offspring brand to go beyond the 0 to 5. And that's exciting. That's not a forecast. That's some of the plans that we're working with, kan, because Jekyll, dia ada brands macam Ariani, so we're looking at how, mak dia pakai Ariani, kita nak dia, anak dia pakai offspring, macam tu. Brand collaboration dengan dia orang lah. So many of these kind of kata orang tu apa, future, which is very exciting for us.
Okay. Soalan daripada Azli Hashim, last quarter we saw first profit after at least 3/4 of losses. Congrats. What are short and medium term prospects?
So we have a board meeting Monday, 30th of August. I can't do forecast, but I can tell you this year will be a great year for us lah. So keep tabs of our announcement on that Monday. Unfortunately, the next day tu 31st August tu is Hari Merdeka. So are you excited about us? Tunggu Hari Merdeka tu, tunggu hari Rabu lah, which is 1st September. But yeah, I think the short term and the medium term is very encouraging. In fact, the long term is even more encouraging. I can tell you, when we first started Offspring dulu, it was only two countries, right? It was only Singapore, Brunei, and then we went US, even when Russia. Today, we are in 17 countries and growing. I think we'll have a lot more countries before the year ends. And what's exciting is because every time kita buka a country, the growth of the business in that country is similar to the one that you see in Russia or in Singapore or even in Malaysia. It is that fast. We are disrupting an old industry yang always controlled by the Mami Poko and Huggies kan. So that's very exciting for us. And the fact that I marry technology into it too is the one that's exciting. Because with our web store, I have access to data. I can harness the data. I can actually start now prompting our mothers and fathers in terms of behavior. The tons of stuff that we're doing lah. So I'm actually very, very excited about it. So I hope you guys are equally excited like me lah. So,
Okay. Pada pendapat Datuk, adakah perlu rakyat Malaysia mempunyai pengetahuan tentang pasaran saham Bursa Malaysia memandangkan Sedania merupakan syarikat tersenarai di Bursa Malaysia? Lebih-lebih lagi dalam keadaan sekarang, PKP, ramai yang tak ada pekerjaan ataupun terpaksa bekerja di rumah. Apa pendapat Datuk?
I think perlu, sebabnya bukanlah perlu. I'm told, don't quote me, masa MCO, the PKP during hari PKP tu, I think companies like Rakuten enjoyed 60 to 80,000 new accounts per month. Maknanya ramai orang sekarang duduk rumah, dia buka account dan dia start trading. And that's why I find, walaupun there are some foreign institutions that's leaving and all of that, tapi banyak juga dah sekarang ni retail. And I'm hoping a lot of your audience, and I think kebanyakan Bumi Putra should be active. I hope you treat it as an investment and not as gambling lah. Tapi so do market research, find out about the company, get annual reports from the company, find out what are the plans moving forward, and I think you can make quite a bit of money, insyaAllah. Kan, rezeki itu di tangan Allah. But I think if you do your research, participate in events like this. The reason why I agree to do this, apart from Datuk Guntur is a friend, is I do spend time to talk to a lot of people to make sure they understand, and I do hope I can help a lot more people so that they can actually become better. So that's always been my aspiration as a person, and also the aspiration of Sedania. So kalau you tengok Sedania as a company, kita bukan buat benda because buat saja. Kita buat produk atau services sebab I believe dengan produk atau services tu, dia patutnya help to uplift others. So that one day when I die, the product or services yang I create will still continue even after my death. And I'm hoping dia menjadikan pahala pada saya lepas saya mati lah. That's my belief. So So yeah, the answer is you should get a lot more people to come and join the bursa punya market.
Okey. Soalan daripada Encik Azmin Mustam, tahniah, saya minat invest jika ada private placement seperti yang Cikgu Saham tanya tadi lah. Okay. Ada satu lagi soalan daripada
Suruh dia DM tepi kata. DM tepi ada berapa juta dia kata.
Cikgu Saham lah DM dulu.
Okay.
Encik Azli Hashim, kindly share your own personal business and career experience before leading Sedania, Datuk.
Oh, okay. My story is quite colourful. I studied law, but I was also a banker. My first job, but I quit sebab my first job was I pergi foreclose a property, throw somebody out of the house, and then lelong barang dia. So I said I don't want to do that. And then when I heard Astro not launch the first satellite in 1995, I said, wow, this is going to be the next big thing. So I joined Astro. I was one of the pioneer masa awal-awal start dulu. And then masa tu, they wanted to train me, so they sent me all over the world lah. Went to US, went to Europe, and learned about media and technology. And then I came back, I started. So today yang you tengok kat Astro tu, whether the sports department or the entertainment department lah, ranging from, so I was the guy who brought in English Premier League or Champions League or World Cup or Mike Tyson or Prince Nassim fight dulu, badminton, all that. So I was the guy who brought it to Malaysia and I built the team. I was also the guy who brought in Broda Impian, apa lagi, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, to Malaysia and then localize those content. So the team yang buat UPAF semua tu are all my team dulu. So then when I left in year 2000, I set up my own company. I fell in love masa tu in telecommunication. I thought, wow, I anticipate everybody in the world will have more handphone than they would own the toothbrush. So that would be the next big money. Masa tu lagi ada tahu people will start consuming stuff through handphone, through mobility, and then that's how we started. So now I'm in technology, I'm in telecommunication, I'm in banking, fintech basically, health tech. So my principle, I believe in life, yang tanya tadi tu, is that I love future money. I don't quite like my industry that was born during my father's lifetime. So I will not do property development sebab property development zaman bapa I dah ada. So kalau nak buat property development hari ni, I will have to play catch up to someone yang dah start 60-70 tahun dulu. I will not be able to beat that, right? Tapi that's why I mean esports, for example. Esports is maybe a 5-year industry, maybe at best. Ramai orang belum buat duit lagi, and but it's the fastest growing, right? So if you look at, just to put in perspective, kalau you tengok tennis Australian Open, the prize money is $25 million. The League of Legends punya World Cup in 2019, the prize money is $33 million. So Australian Open tennis yang big tu, yang dah berapa puluh tahun tu, League of Legends just come in and has a bigger prize money, and that shows the amount of money that's going into esports lah. So now you tengok brand like Nike, Louis Vuitton, Red Bull, all the major brands that start leaving not just traditional media, Google and Facebook and social media, but also all of those other, they call it KOLs, now going into esports. And you talk to celebrities, they start to get into esports because they know that's where the money is. So I like to get into those kind of future high growth industry early on, masa orang tak faham lagi, and venture into that. The downside to that is bila masuk into industry yang orang tak faham, macam ni lah, and I explain tapi orang tak apa nak faham kan. Bila dia dah mature dan nampak profitable, baru macam, oh, industri apa tu, So for people who take the trouble to come and talk to me, I explain, dia faham, then they get excited about Sedania lah. Panjang sikit jawapan dia, so I hope that answers.
Okey Datuk, kita tak mempunyai banyak masa. Sebelum saya mengundurkan diri, sekali lagi saya ucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada Datuk yang sudi meluangkan masa bersama Cikgu Saham dalam FB Live at Suara Merdeka. Sepatah dua kata, Datuk, kepada followers Suara Merdeka, followers Cikgu Saham dan juga followers Datuk.
Dua kata je. Beli Sedania. 0178.
Okey, sehingga bertemu lagi
Panjang-panjang buat apa?
dengan tetamu. Sehingga bertemu lagi dengan tetamu undangan yang lain, tetapi jangan lupa anda untuk daftar kelas saham online pada 28 Ogos ini. Okey, sekian, jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum, bye.
Assalamualaikum.